Way up north, to Alaska. Way up north, to Alaska. North to Alaska, go north for Russia's home. North to Alaska, go north for Russia's home.
Welcome. My wife Jane.
Ah, nice to have you here, Jane.
Governor Palin.
Hello, welcome. So glad you're here in Alaska. My husband Todd. Thank you. Yeah, nice to have you. I'm very good. How are you? Hi.
Hey there. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
We're so happy that you are here, and this week will change your life.
Feeling good.
Thank you.
I've just visited Alaska for the first time in my life. Out of all the people I've ever met, at one time, North Carolina, all you people in North, you held top bidding as the best people I've ever met. You are now in second place because the best people I've ever met while I've traveled around on planet Earth in my 68 years are the good people of Alaska. They now hold the #1 position. What I am saying to all of America, Alaska included, is we all need to repent and turn to God, and let's turn our country around and get off of this crap we've been running on for about 30 years.
You know what? Let me add too. It's not just him saying it, it's somebody saying it through him. God says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, I will come in. I will repair their land. He's promising that. Phil's just reminding, in very unique ways, he's able to remind us of that. My husband being Eskimo, you know, we have such a respect for the land. True conservationists, that's what we are.
Oh, I would think.
Because we're going to utilize God-given resources for the betterment of mankind, because that's why he put them here, right? All of our resources, minerals, oil, gas, the animals to eat, everything here. And we'll do it responsibly because in perpetuity, we want this to continue. We want it clean, we want it prosperous, we want sustainability with our wildlife. So, you know, the environmental, the wackos like in LA, they don't know what they're talking about. They need to come up here and talk to us about how we responsibly develop as true conservationists.
When I was 18, Sarah, my sociology professor, he alerted all of us that there were three, according to them, the experts, the people who had studied it, there were three races. There was one race of people on this earth. It's called the human race. Amen. We're all made in the image of God. He loves us all, and all this color coding and the crap that comes along with it.
The division.
We actually teach, they taught, each race taught their children that they were the differences. So we're going around in America and we hollering, well, it's the Indian Americans and it's the Oriental Americans, it's the African Americans. After a while, you look at all of what comes out of that and you say, there's just one race of us. We're all just people. We're human beings. God made us all. We created His image, and we all have sinned. And there's been a great, marvelous thing that's been done for us. We're counting time by the man who did it, Jesus, removed our sin, all of us, and guaranteed we can be raised from the dead. Therefore, God says, put your faith in that, and I'll get you off planet Earth alive. And while you're there, love me and love each other. I made you all. I just don't see the downside of that logic for the life of me.
And for simple-minded people like me, that's what I crave. That's what I want to know. That's what I'm supposed to know. That's the majority of people. It's simple.
I think it is.
Test it. Try it. Dare him. Dare him. Say, really, God, if I put my life in your hands, okay, how's it going to go? Okay, and then have some kind of sincere commitment to it, right? Gotta rock your world.
I ran with the wicked, Sarah, for 28 years, the first 28 years of my life. heard the same story I just alluded to when I was 28. And I said, you know what? I don't know how I missed that, but I did. So I ran with the wicked, and I chose to start running with the godly. So I've been running with the godly now for the last 40 years. All I can say is the contrast is astounding. So for my money, I'll take the Bible thumpers every day of the week. I've been around both groups.
But what made you decide, I had enough of that, I'm going here?
Well, by the time you get to be 28, you have somewhat of a track record behind you. And you look back at your track record and you decide, I'm not going very far or very fast here. It's like I'm going round and round. You can only run getting high, getting drunk, and getting laid so far. After a while you say, you know what, this ain't much of a life. I told someone, I said, I can show you a mighty throng of individuals, and I'm one of them, who went from evil men and women to good men and women. I said, I've never run up on an atheist yet who said, you know, when I became an atheist, that really turned my life around. I haven't run up on one, Sarah.
That's great.
So I'm thinking, you know what? I think if we love God and loved each other, I think our culture, and we put spiritual men in high places to make political decisions, I'm thinking would be better off. All I did was go back and see what George Washington said about God, Jesus, the Bible, and politics, what John Adams said, what Thomas Jefferson said, what James Madison. I'm sorry, they were all godly men, every one of them. So I'm no different than them. For if someone said, well, you know, that old Robertson guy said we ought to all repent of our sin, and some group says, well, you're a racist and you're a homophobe. I said, no. I'm a godly man who acknowledges that I myself am a sinner, and so is everyone else. Why don't we just all repent?
So here's the deal too, you recognizing what our founders stood for, and they were godly men, and it was Judeo-Christian principles.
No doubt about it.
All of our charters of liberty were based on Judeo-Christian. So we're hearing that we need a fundamental transformation of America. No, we need a fundamental restoration of America. And it's restoring us back to what and they had foresight. They had providential foresight, and it was a gift given them by God, and we're blowing it today.
We are absolutely blowing it, and it saddens me. James Madison, the architect of our Constitution, he said, we have staked the whole future of American civilization not upon the power of government.
No.
He said, on the contrary, we've staked the future of all our political institutions on the ability of each of ourselves to govern ourselves, to sustain ourselves, and to control ourselves based on the 10 Commandments of God. Now, you know, the writer of the Constitution, the architect, says, listen, it all comes down to the 10 Commandments and how you view it. What he was saying is, look, they're the laws of God. They will guide an individual, a family group, a society, a nation. And he had looked at all these other nations. These guys had studied history. They said over and over and over again, they just forget God and how he's told them to behave themselves. And once you do that, Sarah, you end up having what we now have.
Instead of relying on God the Master and calling out to him for the wisdom and the strength and the hand of protection over our country, we're shooing him out, and we're, at least our elected officials, are going to pretend like they're God and that they can do it.
That's about where we are, right there, you know.
How can you open the eyes and ears of the people who, politically speaking, really matter and can affect these changes? At
some point, we're going to have to take political correctness and shove it from where it came from. We ought to go with biblical correctness. It's a lot safer. Our founding fathers encouraged us to do that, but we got away from it. And when political correct crap came in, we ran God out of our schools, out of the news media, out of the entertainment business, all the way out of our government, our judges, the judiciary, and now we're paying the price. I'm just one guy who's a C+ man, but give me a break. It is pitiful. By the way, Miss Sarah, I will tell you this. When you said once upon a time that your favorite meal was moose stew, well, today at your place, for the first time, I ate moose. You didn't have it in a stew, you had it sort of just baked. But I will tell you, of all the things I've ever eaten, a moose is a good thing to eat. It was fine.
See, our meals, they come wrapped in fur, not cellophane.
We need moose cooking women in the White House.
There you go!
North to Alaska, go north for Russia's home. North to Alaska, go north for Russia's home.